FinancialInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to a double second week episode. A bit of a late start, waiting for the Bank of Japan to come out, and they did. And then I had to think of a thumbnail to go with it, which takes a while. Not my greatest thumbnail, but I gave up about 30 minutes into it trying to make something that I thought was decent. Yeah, so we've got, okay, so it's been a wild week. Obviously, you know, if we look at Bitcoin, right, it's been just something like a 4-hour chart. It's been up and down like crazy. Like how much of a percent move have these been each time? Look at that, 5% move, another 5% move, and then now you just had a 4% move. So pretty wild up and down moves with Bitcoin here. Pretty hard to track and trade, I would think. I mean, if you're trading on lower time frames, it could go well as long as you get these right. But it's definitely some major swings and not necessarily easy to follow. Right now, I think we can look at the S&P, and we're basically going into the end of the year, right? So normally you have your little end of year Christmas rally. Hello, Z-Lig. You can see the S&P is still holding in this uptrend. I talked about on Tuesday the global liquidity, right? So we pull this back up, and how this is still pushing higher. You can see it's leveled out, but they had a big push here. It doesn't look as obvious on this chart, but trust me, it's a big push. But that's not going to trickle through until February. And you can see with the CPI that came out and a couple other things that the US government is saying and Trump is saying, you can tell that they're really trying to juice the market here. This is they don't want to let this market drop. Now, the concerning thing, as I posted in my Discord here, where is it? Okay. So we've got some major prints that have come in. This is huge sell orders, dark pool sell orders. And you can see the last time they came in, it was here, right? And it was all year. And you can see it's been going on the same period. Like it's been going on for quite a while, with especially big orders coming in right now. That's on IVV. This is on VOO. Massive sell orders, and you can see a bunch came in before the last time we crashed, and another time here a bunch came in. I assume this was buying. This must be selling. There's no way this is massive buying. I mean, there's no way to tell if it's buy or sell, but with this kind of top and the divergences that we're seeing on a weekly chart right here, there's no way that isn't selling. So I'm not saying we're going to crash tomorrow, but I think at some point this is all going to roll over, and I'm concerned about that. So I just want to point that out, that's the background we're kind of operating in, and that's why I reduced 80% on my equity positions, and I'm trading defensively now. I'm not even trading that much, because I think the market is extremely risky right now, and we could really go in either direction. There's a lot of policy changes being made. They're trying to stop this from rolling over. So that's happening, plus various war news, of course. And then on top of that, you have these massive selling, seemingly massive amounts of money being moved around that look like, I mean, based on this rally, they look like massive sells. Now, I mentioned that we would get a sell-off here going into the end of the year, try to get people to sell for tax receipts. That's exactly what's happening. However, on this Japanese rate decision, so you might be asking, why did the market move higher after the rate decision, even though they raised rates? Like, why did the Japanese yen go up or go down? This is actually going down. So this looks up, but it's actually going down. Why did that happen? Well, it happened because people expected it to be worse. So yes, they raised rates, but the market is forward looking. So because they only raised rates by 25%, the market was like, oh, okay, we were thinking maybe 50% or something worse than 25. So because it was only 25, it's fine, and we can reverse course because now they have certainty. If we look at there's the triple witching. Nope. Let's refresh it. So massive options expiry going into the end of the day. I don't expect any. Don't expect any big moves to happen until next week, if we do get anything. And next week's going to be a low volume week, right? It's Christmas week. Right now the pin is at 6,800, which is basically where we are. I don't think we're going to get any big movement here. I think we're just going to sit in this range until Monday, and then we're either going to break down or we're going to rally. I really don't have a position on where we're going to go because we're in such a strange spot that really, if it breaks to the upside, we're going to rally. If it breaks to the downside, we're going to dump hard. Like there's no in between, and that makes this very hard to forecast right now. I mean, this is not going to be a long stream because there's really not a lot to say about the direction of the market. Like Bitcoin, I can say a bit about crypto. So crypto, on a daily chart, you did have a TD7, right? And I mentioned that if we look at my Tom K indicator over here and we pull up the weekly, we also have a TD8 on the weekly. So I in terms of crypto, I do think we're bottoming here. I'd like to see a liquidity sweep down to this like 83, 80K area. May not happen. We may just rally from here. So I am positioned a bit bullishly in crypto. I'd like to see a move up to this 110, 112K area before a final dump. I posted about the monthly chart in my room also, basically saying, look, the monthly broke down, right? And every time the monthly is broken down in the past, that's basically been the top. So this was the top. I do wish I believed in it before, but oftentimes when you get a breakdown like this and a retest, things can stay higher longer than you can stay solvent. Hello, Alexa. So right now, I mean, this is pretty, now that MACD has turned bearish, like this was the big move that really confirmed things. I think we're going to get something like this, a tag, liquidity sweep, get people to be bullish again, and then we're just going to plummet. That's what I see for Bitcoin. And I think something similar is going to have to happen in stocks. That's what you're going to see. That's really it. I can't see any kind of long-term bullish scenario, but at least in the short term, I definitely see Bitcoin breaking out higher. Like I don't see how that can't happen. The real question is just do we sweep the liquidity down here at like 82, 83K before up, or do we just go up from here? So I'm kind of building long positions, but in terms of like leverage positions, I'm waiting. I'd like to see, us trade down here into the 83K area. So that's basically my thoughts on crypto. Like I can look at BTCD and stuff. I mean, the fact that there's barely anybody watching the streams right now shows how dead things kind of are. You can see also right on this daily chart, still waiting for things to break down with BTCD. So altcoins should outperform, especially Ethereum on the move higher. This should reverse and break down, but it's kind of just range bound at the moment. It could enter back into here and you get a huge Bitcoin move. But I just wouldn't get too bullish here. I would consider reducing size, and this is the time to hold on to gains from the past couple of years. Because you got to look at this from like a monthly chart, right? So 2022, 2023, we were down here. Now we're all the way up here. How much higher you want to go? Like this is kind of where you take profits and you look for that pullback, and then you can re-enter again. That's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, and for S&P probably something similar. And I don't have a clear read on exactly where this is going to go. So when that happens, I reduce size and I wait until the direction is more clear. Couple stocks. I mean, Tesla, right? Tesla broke out and it's been heading higher. 4 hour looks like it's stalling. You've got divergence here. So if you were in Tesla longs, you could maybe take some profits here. If the market does roll over, at least you took profits, right? But if we push higher, we could push all the way to 577. So just keep in mind, it could go either way. Right now, it's looking like it could break down, but you could do something like this: flush, fill this gap, and then we reverse and head higher. That's a possibility with Tesla. And if you wanted to get long, I would wait for something like that. Talk about what's going to happen to the new TRI coming in. Is it going to be different? Hello, yes, regarding the new TRI, yes, it will be a bit different. We're working on a few things behind the scenes. I can't go into too much detail right now. The current courses will be changed to a totally new format. All of that's still in process. We probably won't run a term next semester while we're restructuring. So, I'm going to continue doing shows. I'll continue posting in my room. We're gonna work on some really cool, useful tools that are nothing like anything you've seen at TRI before. But in my personal opinion, and I think Siort agrees with me, they will be game changers, and we'll run accounts on them and see what the feedback is and if people like it. And we've got a couple ideas for like social media campaigns and stuff like that because we wanna kind of advertise a bit more. But right now, crypto especially is dead, so people are not following that much, and it gives us time to develop and build out new products. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, let's go look at some stocks quickly. Probably the same ones I talked about on Tuesday. Oracle, I mentioned wanting to be long Oracle. So Oracle, I think in after hours trading, is like way up. Where is it? I thought it was at like 200 something. It's at 192 right now. But it was all the way down here at 178. So it doesn't look like a big move, but 1 point. No, sorry. It's at like 192 right now. So it's actually rallied almost 9%. I'd like to see the gap fill up to 220. So I could definitely see that. It sold off a lot. I thought it was higher. I don't know why it says 192. I really thought we went to 200 something. But yeah, I have a bunch of Oracle that I bought and I talked about on the stream on Tuesday. So hopefully you guys were able to pick up some Oracle. It's done very well. Let's see what else. So Boyle, I talked about natural gas, right? Boyle fully retraced and now has an 8, TD8 on the daily. I'm not saying it's going to reverse here, but something to keep an eye on. Could this reverse? I mean, we can look at natural gas futures, right? Natural gas. We want to look at the US ones. This one. Right now, quite the retrace. You can see on a daily chart, it's starting. It had a TD9 come in. It's starting to look like it's trying to put in a bottom. We filled this gap right here. It is winter time, so I'd like to see. I think you could potentially see a retrace in natural gas, and I think it's you could nibble on it here. Maybe we go a bit lower, but I think it's a decent spot to pick up a little bit for like a quick trade. I'm not saying hold this long term. I'm just saying as a quick trade on some kind of pop that could happen. So I kind of like that. This name popped up. TERN. So this name has had a lot of insider selling recently, and it popped up on my radar. So you can see it went above the highs. It's got a big gap down here at $9. So I put, there's major divergence here. Not so much on MACD, but major divergence with RSI. So I've opened a short on this. I think I'm a little bit early, but that's why I'm only shorting with stocks. I'm not using any puts or anything like that. I'm giving myself plenty of time. And if it breaks down, okay, great. If it moves up a bit more, okay, I'll add to my short. I think it's eventually going to retrace. A lot of insiders have been selling here. So that's why I'm interested in taking a shot on this one. I think it could be a great trade. Okay, anything else? I already talked about Bitcoin. Ethereum, same concept, right? So you've had this huge downtrend and we broke out and now we're retesting the other side of the downtrend. It's a messy retest, but we've got a TD8 printing on the daily chart. Could be a nice W and we can get that blast off, move higher, which could take us to that like 5,000 area or so. It'll happen very fast. Bitcoin won't go to all-time highs, but Ethereum could based on that BTCD move down that we talked about. So I've something I have done just the past couple days is I bought calls on ETHA. They expire the end of February and they're in the money calls. So I'm holding them. Well, they were in the money. I bought them at 22. Maybe I'll buy some 21 ones. It doesn't look great when you look at it here, but if you look at it in the context of Ethereum, which is what it tracks, it looks pretty good. So I'm in that, and I'm also in some MSTR ones, but you can see it. It's not looking great, right? But Bitcoin is looking like it's ready to reverse. So I've taken a few in that while everyone is fearful. You know, we're right at my buy level, 0.86. This is the area to enter on a retracement. All we need is a bounce and a little bit of a W formation. And we're off to the races, just like that. And we get a move up to like 300 area. It would be a very nice payday if that happened. I could see it happening very quickly, but don't go crazy with size because again, I think I could be early on these. So turn, MSTR, and ETHA, I've taken positions, but I'm thinking I might be early. That's the only issue. I don't really have a lot more to go over. I talked about BLNK that's sold off a lot. You have a TD9 on the daily chart that's come in. It massively retraced, and it's essentially in a buy zone now, right? So here's, I think it's even lower than the buy zone. Yeah, so buy zone was here. We're even lower now, but this is a major support area. You've got MACD potential divergence. You've got weekly. So not only do you have weekly TD8, you also have daily TD8 and 9. So it's like in a double bottom area. So I like it as a potential long, but it's still consolidating and it's definitely risky, and I don't know anything about it from a fundamental perspective. Maybe there's a major problem with this company that's causing the stock to fall apart. So be careful with this. You can see how far it fell, right, from 2021. It was $60 here, and now it's 80 cents. And talk about a massive decline. This is probably a dead cat bounce, but I do like that, you know, RSI did not. While price kind of almost made a new low, RSI didn't at all. Regarding the new classes, will the existing have to pay full price if we paid all three but want to retake it? No. If you ever want to retake something, you never have to pay full price. But the current classes are not going to be offered again in their current format. It's all going to be changed. So something to keep in mind. You definitely won't have to repay. Maybe if there's a human involved, you might have to pay a little bit, but if there's not, then there should be almost no charge. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I don't really have anything else. Like I said, we're kind of at an indecision point. I don't think anything's going to happen until next week. You've got max pain essentially at 6,800 area right here, this midpoint. Markets topping out, but this could take a while. And, you know, we might get one more run of the highs and then a dump, or we might dump right away. But either way, we're eventually probably going to dump lower. Like there's too many of these high volume prints that are likely sells coming in for me to be super bullish on the market here. So I'm reducing size and being extremely cautious with any trades that I'm taking. Okay, that's all I've got for you guys today. Hopefully, you know, we'll get more data over the weekend, see how things develop, especially on Monday, and then I can provide like a cleaner direction of where I expect the market to go. The best advice I can give is, you know, just preserve capital through this until we get clear signal in a direction, and then we can take trades. Okay, all right, I'll talk to you guys. Have a great weekend, and I will speak to you guys next week.